Welcome to the Pelican Brief. I'm Jordan Salama, and this is our holiday show. We're so happy to have PMHS Music Director Mrs. Abeshouse coming by to talk about the holiday concerts, as well as the chamber chorus to perform a Christmas song. That's all a bit later in the show, but first, with me now, please welcome the co-editor-in-chief and the advisor of the Pelham, Ellie Livingstone, and Mr. Schleifer. Guys, thanks for coming on the show. Thank you. First, I'd just like to congratulate both of you for being in your 90th year of publication, the Pelham, 1924 to 2014. How does that feel?
Well, it's pretty exciting to be a part of such a special year in the Pelham. I cannot believe that it's been in syndication for 90 years. It's incredible.
And one of the really nice things about having the anniversary this year is that we've heard from a lot of alumni who have reached out to us, people who went to the school 50 years ago and are still reading the Pelham, so it's very nice to get their feedback as well.
That's amazing. And does the Pelham have a mail circulation so they can receive it?
We don't mail out a subscription, but I believe starting next year they're going to be putting the Pelham online so that anybody who would like to see the Pelham that is not within the distribution of the school can go to the website and it'll be in PDF format.
That's fantastic. And you guys received congratulations from celebrities like Scott Pelley and even President Obama himself. I mean, how does that feel? That's so special.
It was pretty fantastic when Mr. Schleifer came in and was like, guess who we got a letter from? And it was from Barack Obama, and we saw his signature there. I mean, maybe it was from his intern or something, but the fact that he signed it was pretty incredible.
Yeah, it was pretty interesting. We did some reach out to both the elected officials that represent us locally and nationally, and also to people within broadcast journalism and print journalism. And in addition to the names that you mentioned, we also got a response from 3 different Pulitzer Prize-winning journalists. So that was also pretty special.
That is really special. Let's switch gears and talk a little bit about the how the Pelham comes together. Ellie, I know you're the co-editor-in-chief along with Nicholas DeBellis. What is your role in the production of an edition of the Pelham in comparison to, let's say, the writing staff?
So the editor-in-chief has the second to last final say in the process of an article. So I make edits after the editor of a certain, so say you're an editorial editor. They make the first round of edits, and then it gets passed to me, and after I make the corrections, then it gets passed to Mr. Schleifer.
Okay. And how long does it take you to put all of this together, to get the writing and then to the editing and then overall what we receive in our English classes?
So usually we publish every 6 weeks. So we first start with brainstorming, and then we move to writing, and then editing, and then re-editing, and editing again, and then it gets passed to Mr. Schleifer, and then we do layout, and then we make final edits, which usually takes about a week to just gloss over the pages 1,000,000 times, and then we publish.
And Mr. Schleifer, can you explain a little bit more about your role in the...
Sure. I help them in the brainstorming process. I throw out ideas that I know are currently in the news that I think might be of interest to both the Pelham students and the Pelham community at large, since I know that a lot of the students are bringing their newspapers home for parents and other relatives to read. So we brainstorm together. I kind of keep them on track. We're lucky. We have 2 excellent managing editors this year who are in charge of making sure that deadlines are met. And every Thursday afternoon in room 134, we have a staff meeting. And beyond the people who are in the print journalism class, we're lucky this year that we have a staff of about 20 different writers, artists, and photographers who all contribute to the newspaper.
And this is open to any student who's interested in journalism?
Yes.
Anyone who would like to be in the class can apply to the class, and anybody who would like to be on the staff, all they have to do is be available, willing, and able to submit something to us.
That's great. And Mr. Schleifer, you're currently in your 2nd year as the advisor of the Pelham,
Sure
correct?
am.
You took over from Ms. Wozniacki
Yes.
a few years ago. How has that transition been?
Well, it was a very easy transition. Ms. Wozniacki was very sweet. She met with me the year before I actually came in. We met that June, I believe. And she kind of talked me through the process. And I have a journalism background, so I knew what to expect. But overall, it's been very interesting. particularly of interest is the fact that every year there is a new staff that comes in, new sets of editors, some that overlap, others that are brand new to the process, and it's really interesting to see what each new set of people brings to the table.
Okay. And now can you each talk about maybe what you enjoy most about working on the school newspaper? What is it that brings you joy?
Well, I love to write, so getting to write about a topic outside of English class, we usually write essays, but learning this new format of writing, and with newspaper articles you have to learn to be concise in your words, and it's just really exciting to be able to write, and then you get constant feedback on your work because the entire school is reading your work, and it's pretty exciting.
Of course. And can I ask what your favorite piece has been?
I think my favorite piece that I ever wrote was last year. We did a point-counterpoint on public universities versus private universities and the pros and cons. So I actually took the side of public universities, which is kind of ironic because I'm attending a private university next year. But it's really interesting to elaborate on a point, even though you have to learn to see both sides of the coin, and that's one of my favorites.
That's great. And Mr. Schleifer, what would you say you enjoy most?
We did an investigative piece last year on why the turf field took so much time to get fundraised and actually implemented the placement of the field. And it was interesting because it was not just an instance of a writer who had to just do some interviews and do some research, but it really was some investigative reporting, and I thought that our reporter really did a terrific job with that.
That's great, because that was such a huge issue in the town.
It was.
Yeah, and I think that that's great. The Pelham, in addition to the Pelham Weekly and everybody else got to cover it. You have an edition coming out in the next month, I hear? Mm-hmm. Well, what should we look forward to? I mean, we want the insider scoop, obviously.
Well, it's our New Year's issue, so we're doing a bit of a wrap-up of what has happened in the last year, both within the school and beyond the borders of our campus. And also just to look at how the first half of this year has started to develop, some award stuff, some concert footage, stuff like that.
Ellie,
yeah, it's a pretty exciting time of year, not just in terms of the school, but on conflicts that are going on outside of the school. So we like to take those conflicts or happinesses, and we like to bring them back to Pelham, and I think that's an exciting part of this issue.
All right, it does sound very exciting. We'll keep you updated along the way, of course. Ellie Livingstone and Mr. Schleifer, thank you so much, guys, for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Enjoyed your company so much. Stay tuned, because coming up next, I'll be speaking with Mrs. Abeshouse about the holiday concerts here at PMHS, and a bit later, the chamber chorus will be singing a holiday song. Stick around for more of the Pelican Brief, everybody. Welcome back to the Pelican Brief. This is our holiday show, and we are back with PMHS Chorus and Musical Director, Mrs. Abeshouse. Mrs. Abeshouse, thank you so much for coming out.
Thank you for having me.
We are so happy to have you. It's such a happy time of year, like the holidays. It's always great to listen to the holiday concerts with the chorus, the orchestra, and the band. How much of a role do you think that music plays in getting us all into the holiday spirit?
Well, I think I'd have to ask you to imagine what the holidays would be like if there were no music, or what anything would be like in life if nobody drummed or sang or played instruments. That's kind of hard to imagine. So I think that music plays a role in the holidays as it does in life in general.
Mm-hmm. And as the chorus director, obviously you have to select some holiday songs for your concert every year. How do you go about doing that?
Well, I think about the quality of the song. It has to be one that I'm happy to live with for the weeks that it'll take for me to teach it to the group. So if I don't love it, I'm not going to pick it. I want it to be artistically and musically beautiful. And so I find there are many different places that I can find holiday songs, concerts that I've sung in myself, workshops that I go to, other teachers' recommendations. The NISMA manual has suggestions. And also, my husband works with composers, and they're sending me things. And one of the songs we sang this year was one that was given to me by one of those composers.
All right. And what type of variety do you look for, though?
So we always end with the Hallelujah Chorus because it's a tradition and it's a wonderful masterpiece to expose the group to. And year after year is a great experience because we get to keep polishing it, and alumni come back and sing it with us. So I look for a diversity in the music. I look for music from other countries. I do music that might not have anything to do with the holiday in particular also, but that would be appropriate within the context of the holiday program.
And how often would you say you repeat? Have you ever repeated a song
I do
besides
repeat.
the Hallelujah Chorus?
In fact, I repeated Bethlehemu, the Nigerian Christmas carol this year, which I had done only 3 years ago because one of my seniors, Simon White, requested it of me. He said, could we please do that in my senior year? And I thought, sure, why not? It's a great song. I also repeated Carol of the Bells because it's just so delightful and charming.
That's the song that the chamber
the
chorus
song
is
you'll
going to be
hear
singing
you'll
today.
hear later, yes.
How long have you held this position as the chorus director?
Here at PMHS, this is my 4th year.
Okay. And elsewhere, have you ever?
And I was at Hutchinson School, where you were my student, for 10 years. I was there for 10 years. And I was at Colonial School for 10 years. And then prior to that, I taught on Long Island.
What would you say is the most challenging part about leading a chorus, or any musical group for that matter?
Well, that's a many-layered question.
Sure.
There are musical challenges, and the musical challenges are for me to know everybody's part, and that's very challenging. It's also challenging for me to be able to convey with my gestures to the group what I would like them to, how I'd like them to express the song. And then other challenges are just to have people go along with me, you know, like come on the ride and be open.
Well, obviously it's been working. The chorus sounds so great every year. Can anybody join the chorus?
Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
It's open to all students.
It is open to all students. I've had students come who were very weak singers, and singing is a physical activity, a muscular activity, and most of us, it's very rare not to be able to learn how to sing.
Okay. But what types of qualities do you look for in members? Besides, obviously, you don't look for singing ability if it's a
Right.
muscle
So I want somebody who loves to sing, first of all. I mean, that has to be there. You have to love to sing. Somebody who is going to be collegial, who's going to be friendly, who's going to be part of a team, and somebody who's open to learning how to read music, to learning, you know, to not just be there to hear me sing it and to just parrot it back to me, but who's willing to go inside the music with me.
Mm-hmm. And you're not only the director of the main chorus, which is, I know, a class that meets 0 period, but you're also the director of the chamber chorus. Can
Correct.
you explain what that is and why actually you've had a name change from select chorus to chamber chorus?
Okay, so, I mean, the select chorus name, I simply didn't care for the name select chorus, and I'm actually looking for a name other than chamber chorus. So chamber chorus is my default name because that's what we are. A chamber chorus is a small ensemble. And I just like that name better.
All right. And finally, how pleased have you been with your chorus performance? I know you had a concert last night.
I'm really, really pleased. Today I feel a little spent, you know. It was an emotional experience for me, and I hope for the students too, but I'm very proud of them. They were very giving, and I learned a lot from them, and I'm really happy with the way it went.
That's great. And of course, we can't discount Mrs. Abeshouse's amazing piano playing ability for the chorus as well.
Thanks.
So that's
Thank
always
you.
great.
Thanks.
Well, we are lucky enough to be able to hear the chamber chorus perform for us today. We can't fit all of them here in the studio, so I went down earlier today to pay them a visit. Ladies and gentlemen, singing Carol of the Bells, here is the PMHS Chamber Chorus.
Sweet silver bells all seem to say, throw cares away. Christmas is here, bringing good cheer to young and old, meek and the bold. Ding-dong-dee-dong, that is her song. Ring, jingle, ring, all caroling. One seems to hear words of good cheer from everywhere, filling the air. Oh, how they come, raising the sound, Lord, and dare tell the good tales. Ding-ding-ding-ring, while people sing songs of good cheer. Christmas is here. Ding, merry, merry, merry Christmas song. Ding, merry, merry, merry Christmas song. All of this and gone without end. Ding, triple tongue, ding, every home. Hark how the bells, sweet silver bells, all seem to say, throw cares away. Christmas is here, bringing good cheer to young and old, meek and the bold. Ding-dong-dee-dong, that is their song. Ring, triple ring, all caroling. One seems to hear words of good cheer from everywhere, filling the air. Oh, how they come, raising the sound, Lord, and the dare tell the good tales. Ding-ding-ding-ring, while people sing songs of good cheer. Christmas is here. Ding, merry, merry, merry Christmas song. Ding, merry, merry, merry Christmas song. All of they send on without end, their triple tongue to every home.
On they send on without end their triple tone to every home.
Ding dong, ding dong.
That was great. I want to thank Mrs. Abeshouse so much for being here today with us. Thank you for being on the show. And of course, the Pelhamels, Ellie Livingstone and Mr. Schleifer. Up next on Pelham Educational Access, you can see all of our holiday concerts from this season a bit later, so don't go anywhere. And this is great, everybody. Coming up on our next episode, after the holiday break, we will be joined by an up-and-coming student rock group called Half King. Will Rocco, TJ Hurd, and Jonathan Marty, they're a very talented group of guys. We'll have an exclusive interview with them, and you'll also be able to hear them perform an original song right here on the Pelican Brief. I'm really looking forward to it. Everybody, thanks for being here. I'm Jordan Salama, wishing you and your families a very happy holiday season, and we'll see you next time on the Pelican Brief.